So I'm sure the definition of insanity is doing something over and over and over again and then expecting the same result, or rather, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. There you go. I got it right on the second turn. So whenever I see people like Venti, Brittany Venti, of course, round of applause. All right, yeah. Yeah, she's important. Whenever I see her do this crusade or whatever you want to call it, going in against these people, you know what people, it fills me with a lot of questions. Like her latest spurg I can't even figure out why or what prompted it exactly. It seems like she was just minding her own right-wing grifty business, and then all of a sudden it's like, it's time to talk about anime again, and boy oh boy did she ever. But this time I thought it was a little funnier for a couple reasons. The Venti has a history of going after this one VTuber shark named Gura Gura or Gar Gura or whatever it's called. You weebs can go ahead and fill in the blanks. And basically her entire argument is that it promotes CP or something of that sort. Now if I was a company, a corporation, and I heard some fucking random bitch, right-wing grifter bitch, that looks like an alien, saying that my company is promoting CP-philia, I'd probably do whatever I can to either sue her or any legal means take everything away from her. She would have done the same thing. A lot of people would do the same thing. It's always like the people that you least expect to not do something to do it. Most of the time, sometimes, blah blah blah. I digress. For example, Venti preaching to be against pedophilia and shit and lolicons, and then being friends with a groomer or some guy that says weird shit like this.
Overall, it was just like not very attractive, and like I also
my
played
God,
video
stop.
games at home and just stayed home a lot and just.
I would love to see pictures.
If
Are
you're
there pictures
not
of-
attractive, you're the most attractive.
Where are young pictures of you?
I was 14 then, though, and I had
Even
puberty
more
very
attractive.
I want
early.
to see those pictures. I want to jerk off to them, and then I want. Oh, come on.
What do you
don't
mean?
think
Now, it doesn't exactly ring true to your supposed principles. Or the commentary community pretending to be anti-lolicon, calling out reps as Disu whenever it's convenient. Or even people like the almighty Lolly. And then giving people like Lyrics a pass, who's been caught with Lolly multiple times. Whose excuses just keep getting worse and worse. Who's made cope defenses like this. And still goes ahead and calls Lolly pedophilia.
I just want to ask Liam, why did you like a cat girl lolly with a dildo and a whip?
And guess what, dude? Guess what?
How
dude?
about you
if
ask
there was
him?
a guy,
How about you
no,
ask
if
him?
there was a guy,
How about
no,
you
no,
ask
listen
him?
to me. No, real quick.
It's just a mix match of inconsistent, hypocritical people, and I'm kind of tired of seeing it, to be honest. These kinds of hypocritical, stupid people have made me just not really want to chastise the community that harbors lolicons. That's not to say I don't have my disagreements with them. In fact, one of the biggest ones, you would be surprised, is the way that they go ahead and they do this little gif over here. The Cry Seath and Mauled gif with a cutesy anime chick dancing in the background. It's all so insulting. It can kill your manhood, one can say. But whatever. Let's not get hung up on whatever kills your manhood and what doesn't. Back to Alien Venti. So Alien Venti was also spurging out because Community Notes apparently wasn't backing her. Keck. Community Notes, for you people that don't know, is the new feature that Elon Musk implemented into Twitter X, or X as he now calls it. Basically, he wants to be the cool guy combating the fake news or whatever. And so he thought that giving Community Notes a go was the way to go. Essentially, he's saying, oh, we on X fight fake news by fact-checking with the most accurate of facts and facts and facts. Unfortunately for him, or rather unfortunately for the right-wing grifters, I don't think they ever took into consideration that Community Notes wasn't always going to be used to serve their narratives. And so instead, funny enough, the weeb lolicons ended up using it for their message. Now you could call it hijacking, but like I said, the rules are ever changing for those that want to use them. So in this instance, the Community Notes sided with the lolicon weebs, and basically saying that Gurgura is a 20-year-old or something. You know, if the artist says this person is this age, it doesn't matter how young they look or whatever they are. I think I spoke to somebody that had that mindset too. Funny enough, they're also super anti-lolly, and I just couldn't fathom how the fuck they couldn't see that they were using a lolicon defense. Like I said, a lot of people like this all around the board. It's just so sad. It's so freaking sad to see. But yeah, community notes apparently sided with the lolicon weebs. And Venti was not happy about it. She went on another Spurg Fest and even made this weird diagram for like finding out the age of a character, like an anime blob character, to where it's supposed to tell you the ages, which is kind of stupid because, for example, in one of the age ranges she names as appropriate, obviously the body, they're going by the body of the character, so the body of the character is like a big titty anime chick. The only problem with that is they're a high school big titty anime chick, so the fuck doesn't that just throw your entire argument or stupid diagram that you were preaching to the heavens for, like, out the window? Let's be fucking honest, nobody can really tell the age of these characters unless they're next to a fucking rattle or a freaking teddy bear like Lyrics is likes. Again, I'm gonna keep pointing that out because this guy, number one, is a closeted lolicon. Number two, motherfuckers give him a pass all the time, but they won't give other people from the anime community, Rebs community, or just lolicons in general pass. It's kind of fucking pathetic and kind of a little inconsistent. I think the inconsistent part is the one that pisses me off the most. And I mean, don't get me wrong, fucking Venti is as inconsistent as it gets. Like I said earlier, it's kind of weird that she goes ahead and she preaches about anti-pedophilia to the high heavens, even crying on fucking Twitter to Daddy Elon. But then she'll be friends with like groomers just casually because of lol, why not?
So I was 17, I had my annual blood work done. They were
You should have called me.
what, for my blood work?
No, you were 17. You should have called me.
So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And ask yourself, which one's worse? Brittany wants to call out everyone's predatory behavior. Oh, except for the literal predator sitting right next to her. He gets a pass because, well, she said so.
Such a spit in my face for someone to act like I would attack children, especially when I received all the flack for it. You know, I was the canary in the coal mine and opened the conversation about adult entertainment, how it affects women and children too.
And in case you're saying, oh, well, maybe Brittany didn't know. She didn't know. Oh, she knows all right. And she even low-key ran defense for Anthony Cumia by saying he's a, quote, shock jock. Yeah, as if Nick Fuentes isn't also a shock jock. Does that give them carte blanche to endorse or normalize predatory behavior? And she even tried to say, if Chrissy knew something, she'd say something. Chrissy Mayer is a soulless careerist. She doesn't give a fuck about Cumia's behavior. She orbited Cumia because she's a failed Canadian. And take a look at her Chow views. Clearly didn't work out for her very well. And it's funny because when I personally called out Brittany in DMs, she immediately started to distance herself from Cumia by saying, I don't really know him. I don't hang out with him. Because that's the same exact move the Wilsons are now pulling with Nick Fuentes and America First. Brittany tries to brand herself as this crusader to protect children, but reality is she's often just using them as props in her content and to write herself a free pass to pass judgment on anyone she doesn't like and then absolve herself of any hypocrisy. No. Brittany Venti is a stone-cold hypocrite.
What is it that those weebs say? That you're just trying to cover up for your shit? I don't know. There might actually be something to that, I'm starting to realize. Because again, Venti is very preachy when it comes to the anime people. Not so preachy about other matters. I mean, we live in an era where people can just make Google Docs with Trust Me Bros, and then they'll just fucking... The brain-dead fan bases will believe them. I mean, there's not much more that I want to add to this video in particular. I think I've said about all that I had to say. Mofos being consistent, can't stay consistent to save their life. If you want to preach to be anti-pedophilia and whatever, anti-lolicon, don't be following a lolicon account, maybe, number one. Number two, don't be friends with groomers or people that say overly sus shit, like Brittany Venti is doing. And can we stop playing anime semantics with how a character looks and the age and whatever? Like, I swear to God, that entire last week, it's all about flip-flopping from the canonical age, homie, to how it looks, homie. It's like you're fucked either way. I believe it's a argument, it's a battle that's not beneficial for anybody, and neither party is gonna really win. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. Technically speaking, the lolicons are always gonna win, because if you even look at the ratios, the constant ratios and the constant people that go on the attack, they clearly have the numbers. It doesn't matter how right-wing of a grifter you are, like Venti, chances are you're not gonna really stand up to their numbers. I think that maybe only million subscriber channels could probably get away with ratioing them. And even then, like, some of them don't even bother to do so. Like, when was the last time you heard somebody like Mr. Beast go on an anti-lolicon crusade? When was the last time you heard somebody like Moist Critical go on an anti-lolicon crusade? Not very often, because they know that that's a divide to their fan bases. The truth of the matter is there are a lot of degenerates on the internet. Mr. Beast and Moist know this, and they also know that they're never really going to meet these people either way. So why go ahead and divide your fan base by talking down to a section of what could be your fan base? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and it's completely counterproductive to you wanting to grow your channel. Because regardless of how much you want to preach anti this or anti that, chances are you're going to slip up, or you may have already. Somebody's going to find that, somebody's going to point it out, and then they're never going to let it go. As a general rule of thumb, I think that if you want to grow in any way, shape, or form, it's better to never divide your audience. And so by doing that, you shouldn't be going ahead and shaming potential viewers. Unless you feel like you're already made like that and you have an established fan base that's going to dedicate itself to following you no matter what. Or you just don't give a shit. Either or. That's been your YouTube lecture of the day with Sen. Don't have much more to add again, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.
I know what's real, what's fake.
You have no balls. Things like that. This is what I see.